the only reason two men can really call themselves friends or partners or homies. Can't start with lies and can't build on lies, and you know what I'm saying, when it's all over, you know what I'm saying, can't be no lies a part of it. Everything between me and him, regardless of how we may deal with everybody else, I'm 100 with him. He 100 with me.
Some of these niggas, I don't never see these niggas in the street, man. You know what I'm saying? We be out in the open, man, because we ain't hiding, because we ain't over nobody and stole nobody money, man. Nigga, you with everything you stand for. You nigga.
The music industry is full of glitz, glamour, and straight up chaos. But behind the flashing lights and chart-topping hits, there's a darker side, filled with secrets, scandals, and stories to make you question everything you thought you knew. Let's dive into some of the untold truths about the legends who lived it. Pimp C was never the kind of person to shy away from saying exactly what was on his mind, no matter the consequences. He had this unfiltered honesty that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially in an industry where masks are the norm. One of his most notorious moments came when he called out fellow artists and the music industry itself for what he saw as hypocrisy and fake personas. Pimp C wasn't afraid to name names. He openly criticized those he believed were faking their southern roots for clout and called out record labels for exploiting artists. Tensions with other big names in the industry were inevitable, and Jay-Z was one of the figures who reportedly clashed with him. Their relationship was complicated. While they worked together on tracks like Big Pimpin', Pimp C later expressed reservations about the song's success and the broader dynamics between the Southern and East Coast artists. And then there were his interviews. If you've ever heard Pimp C speak, you know he had a way of turning a mic into a weapon. Whether he was in the studio or sitting down for an interview, he was dropping bombs. He exposed shady industry practices, called out artists for living lies, and talked about the power plays behind closed doors. But his candor didn't come without a cost. The music industry isn't kind to those who disrupt the status quo, and Pimp C's boldness often isolated him from others in the business. That brings us to the mysterious circumstances surrounding Pimp C's death. On December 4th, 2007, the world lost Chad Lamont Butler, known as Pimp C, but the questions surrounding how he died have never really gone away. The official cause of death was ruled as an accidental overdose, a combination of promethazine and codeine, exacerbated by sleep apnea. However, suspicions arose due to reports of blood at the scene and Pimp C's position when found in his room at the Mondarian Hotel in West Hollywood, California.
That's when Chad Butler, known as Pimp C, died in a Los Angeles hotel room.
These details led many to believe there was more to his death than just an overdose. Some theories suggest foul play, pointing to an individual named Larry Adams, also known as Buddy or L.A. According to Pimp C's cousin, Edgar, Adams allegedly poisoned Pimp C for financial gain.
So tell me about Buddy. Can you...
Buddy the nigga who killed my cousin.
Aiming to acquire a state in UGK. Adding to the intrigue, Adams reportedly married Pimp C's widow, Chinara, after his death.
Is it true that Pimp C's wife married a man named Buddy? Same Buddy? There it is.
Adams himself died in 2013 under mysterious circumstances, allegedly from poisoning, further fueling the conspiracy theories surrounding Pimp C's death. Family members, including his mother, have openly questioned the official narrative, with his mother specifically mentioning the presence of a shady, strange character around the time of his death. Friends and collaborators have echoed these doubts. DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia described the scene as something out of a horror movie, adding another layer of suspicion to an already murky story. But Pimp C wasn't the only one with a mysterious death. Before we jump into the next artist, let me remind you, there's a subscribe button below. Hit it, and trust me, you won't regret it. So next, we've got Old Dirty Bastard, or ODB as the world knew him, a man who was basically a walking paradox. But what most people don't realize is that behind all the antics, ODB lived a life of surveillance, suspicion, and paranoia that went far beyond his erratic behavior. He wasn't just imagining things. He had actual government agencies watching his every move. FBI files released after his death confirmed what ODB had been saying for years. The Wu-Tang Clan was under federal surveillance. The FBI wasn't casually looking into them either. They were investigating the group for alleged criminal activities, including money laundering and links to organized crime. These weren't just whispers, they were documented accusations. The files outlined detailed allegations that tied Wu-Tang to everything from drug trafficking to contract killings. For ODB, being labeled paranoid became part of his public image, but the truth is, he had every reason to feel that way. He often spoke about being followed, watched, and targeted, and people around him didn't always take those claims seriously.
I'm not crazy at all, okay? Everybody always saying that Dirty is crazy. Dirty is not crazy at all. Dirty just see.
But with the FBI files now out in the open, it's clear that ODB wasn't exaggerating. He was clearly known for his unpredictable behavior, but the added stress of being under the government's microscope likely amplified his struggles. For decades, government agencies kept tabs on influential figures in music, particularly those who challenged the status quo. From John Lennon to Tupac, the list of musicians monitored for their political and cultural influence is long, and ODB was no exception. The broader implications of this surveillance go beyond ODB himself. It raises questions about the ways governments monitor and, in some cases, attempt to control artists who they perceive as threats to societal norms. He was released from prison in 2003 after serving time for drug possession and escaping a rehab facility. On November 13, 2004, he collapsed at approximately 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at a recording studio in Manhattan and was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. An autopsy revealed a lethal mixture of cocaine and tramadol in his system. His death was ruled accidental, occurring just 2 days before his 36th birthday. In ODB's case, the situation was even more complicated because his work was often experimental and raw by design. Deciding what was ready for release and what wasn't became a subjective judgment call, one that sparked heated discussions among his fans and collaborators. Adding fuel to the fire was the battle over control of ODB's estate. After his death, family members and other parties fought for years over the rights to his music, his name, and even his image. His widow, Iselene Jones, and his children were at the center of these disputes, with legal battles dragging on for over a decade. At one point, there were even accusations that certain parties were using ODB's name to profit without properly compensating his family. The fans, of course, had their own reactions to all of this. When the Osiris mixtape was finally released,
"Rest in peace, old dirty."
See, my name is the ODB.
the response was a mixed bag. Some listeners were thrilled to hear new ODB music, even if it wasn't polished. Others felt that the releases didn't do justice to his legacy, arguing that the material felt rushed or incomplete. There were also a sense among some fans that the releases were more about profit than preserving ODB's artistry. These reactions spoke to the broader challenges of managing an artist's legacy in a way that feels authentic and respectful. And then came another mysterious figure in the rap world, DMX. The man who was born Earl Simmons lived a life that was as much about survival as it was about his meteoric rise in hip-hop. Beneath the aggressive voice and raw lyrics,
"Stop talking quick. If you out there running your mouth, really don't know who you dealing with. Here we go again,"
was a man at war with himself. DMX once openly admitted to having multiple personalities and possibly schizophrenia, which wasn't just a revelation. It was a cry for understanding in an industry that rarely discusses mental health. In interviews, he spoke about feeling like different people lived within him, each with their own emotions, decisions, and conflicts. Mental health struggles deeply impacted DMX's music and performances.
Yes, there's a few things, few people in me that get me through life.
What would you want anyone to know about those people that help?
I wouldn't want anyone to know anything about those people that I don't talk about. You already got me talking about them. Nope.
His albums were full of contrasts, moments of raw aggression followed by haunting introspection. Tracks like Slippin' from his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, released in 1998,
"I've been through mad different phases, like mazes, to find my way, and now I know they're happy days."
painted vivid pictures of his inner turmoil. He used his lyrics to wrestle with demons he could never fully escape. He spoke candidly in interviews about his past, his pain, and his desire to be better, not just as an artist, but as a man. He entered rehab multiple times, including 2019, shortly after his release from prison, making public statements about his journey toward recovery.
I'm changing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm getting more joy from, greater joy from simpler things, you know, and this change is only going to happen once.
Right.
So I want to document it, you know what I'm saying? You know, God is not going to do the same thing in my life because, you know, he won't have to.
How did you recognize that you are changing?
I just feel different.
Really, though?
Yeah.
His efforts to seek help were a testament to his resilience, even when the odds were stacked against him. However, DMX's mental health struggles were just one layer of a life fraught with legal troubles and run-ins with the law. His history of arrests is long and well documented, starting in 1998 when he was charged with animal cruelty, weapon possession, and drug possession. This pattern continued throughout his life. In 2008, DMX was arrested 3 times in a single year, with charges ranging from drug possession to theft and identity theft. One of his most infamous legal battles came in 2017 when he was charged with tax evasion. Prosecutors alleged he avoided paying $1.7 million in taxes, leading to a 1-year prison sentence. On April 2, 2021, DMX suffered a heart attack in his home, reportedly caused by a cocaine overdose.
Today is the 6th day rapper DMX remains on life support at White Plains Hospital.
He's in grave condition since reportedly suffering a heart attack and drug overdose last Friday.
He was rushed to the hospital, placed on life support, and remained in a coma for a week. During this time, he was also diagnosed with COVID-19, which likely worsened his breathing difficulties. The official autopsy revealed that DMX had multiple toxins in his body, including crack cocaine, fentanyl, alcohol, and prescription pills. This combination of substances, along with his COVID-19 diagnosis, proved fatal. The lack of oxygen to his brain caused severe damage, leaving him brain dead shortly after his hospitalization. Unfortunately, he never regained consciousness. After a week in a vegetative state, his family faced the heartbreaking decision to remove him from life support. His mother, Arnett Simmons, was responsible for making the final call regarding his medical care, including the decision to end life support. Even in his final days, DMX was working on rebuilding. He had already completed a versus battle with Snoop Dogg in July 2020, which drew over 500,000 live viewers and reminded the world of his enduring impact. He was also recording a new album, set to feature collaborations with artists like Pop Smoke and Griselda, a project that sadly became a posthumous release. I've only scratched the surface with these 3 artists, but trust me, the industry is full of untold stories, mysteries, and controversies waiting to be unraveled. So, if you want more jaw-dropping insights, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the wild ride ahead.